Hello friends, good morning. I hope everyone is able to hear my voice clearly. Today we are going to discuss a concept called as headless testing. Okay. Now, before understanding what is headless testing, just try to analyze the programs that we have done till today. We have so far seen how to validate the drop downs. We have seen how to validate the links present on a page. We have also seen how to check for broken links. We have seen how to capture screenshots. Now all the programs that we have done till today, you will see that any of the program, let's take up some program that we have done. Maybe I hope everyone is able to see my screen. I am taking this links testing program which we have done just 2 days back. Now this program has been designed to launch the browser, click on all the links and check whether those links are working correctly or not based on the H-reference property. Now, if you actually look at the programs, you see that all these programs are launching the browser, whether it is Firefox or Chrome or whatever, it's launching the browser and it is doing the testing, whether it is links testing or drop down testing. You see, this program is clicking on the links one after other, and in my console it is also showing me the output whether that link is working correctly or not. Okay, now let me stop the program because this is something that we have already done. Now my question is, currently we are just writing very simple programs which are probably executing in 2 minutes span. After a few sessions we will see something called as test suite execution. Test suite execution is nothing but a group of programs, maybe 100 programs or more. We will combine as one single batch and will run from one point of control, which means it will launch a browser, launch a web application, maybe perform a login operation, and then test the various components, the different components which are present on my page. Now, just imagine the test suite that we are creating is going to take 24 hours to execute. Possible, right? We have created a huge test suite and that test suite is taking 24 hours to execute. Now, do you think as a automation tester, we would be interested in sitting before the machine for 24 hours and watch this drama of browser launching, clicking on the elements in the drop down? No, right? It does not make any sense. We just want to see the results at the end of the program. If that is the case, if we are primarily interested in the results of our automation program, don't you think it would be a better idea if the entire program runs in the background? The total program runs in the background. You do not see the browser launching. We don't see it navigating to any URL. Nothing happens on your machine, but you will get the results of the program. Now, this can be done through something called as headless testing. In Selenium, we can do it through something called as headless testing. Now, what is headless testing? Headless testing is something which is done through browsers which are called as headless browsers. Okay, listen carefully. Now, whenever I use the word headless browser, try to understand. As you can see on my screen, headless browsers are those browsers which do not have a graphical user interface. Let us take the example of Chrome or Firefox. Whenever I launch Chrome, isn't it true that it is launching a graphical user interface which we are able to see and where we are able to do some activities, right? Chrome, Firefox, they are launching graphical browsers which we are able to watch and we are able to interact with. When it comes to headless browsers are those browsers which do not have a graphical user interface. So apparently everything runs in the background. How we have Chrome, Firefox, IE as graphical user interface browsers, in the same way what you see on my screen, Htmlunit, Phantomjs, JS, Splash, these are some of the browsers which are also called as headless browsers. The list that you see over here are called as headless browsers, which means they do not have any graphical user interface. Now, if you use these headless browsers, in your Selenium automation program, you will find that your program will do the testing entirely in the background. We don't actually see anything happening on the screen. Everything will run entirely in the background. So let's take up a very simple example. Okay, now in today's session, we are going to see how to automate HTML unit with Selenium. We will also see how to automate Phantomjs with Selenium. These are the two headless browsers that we are going to see. First of all, we will see how they are working. Then we'll try to do the comparison. What are the advantages of HTML unit? What are the advantages of Phantomjs? Both we will try to compare. Okay. Now, in order to work on HTML unit, we don't really need to do anything. Selenium WebDriver provides an inbuilt class which is called as HTML unit driver. There is an inbuilt class in Selenium called as HTML unit driver. We simply need to create an object of that class. Just watch what I am doing on my machine. I will create a new package. Okay, let's call this package as HeadlessTesting. And in this HeadlessTesting package, we will create our programs. Okay, the first program, let's create a new class which I'll call as HeadlessTesting1, because currently we are doing it through HTML, or else let me call it as HTML unit. So this is the name of my Selenium program. Let me click on finish. Now, friends, we have seen Firefox driver, Chrome driver, Internet Explorer driver. All these are different classes which the Selenium community has given us to automate, the respective browsers. All that information you will actually find in the Selenium HQ site. How you have the Firefox driver class and Chrome driver class, in the same way, we have a class called as HTML unit driver. Just give a few characters and hit Control space. You see, from this list, I am selecting HTML unit driver. Now, HTML unit driver is an inbuilt class in Selenium, which is used to automate a headless browser called as HTML unit. To automate this HTML unit browser, we can use this class called HTML unit driver. Now, I will create an object of that class. Driver equals to new HTML unit driver, and preferably specify the browser version. Which browser you want to work on. Browser version dot. You can actually select either Chrome or Firefox, whichever you want. Let's start with Firefox. So friends, all these days, whatever programs we have done, you see that I was either creating a Chrome driver object, or maybe I was creating a Firefox driver object, depending on which browser we are trying to work on. Today we are creating a HTML unit driver object, which is basically used for running the test in the background, because HTML unit is a headless browser. It does not have any graphical user interface. Okay, now I'll say driver.get, give whatever URL you want. I'll give the URL as let's say I want to open gmail.com. Now friends, if I run this program, you will see that my program will launch the Firefox browser and navigate to gmail.com, but the entire program runs in the background, which means we don't see any activity happening on my screen. Generally, whatever programs we have done till today, when you are running that program, we see that it launches the corresponding browser, goes to the corresponding URL and performs some automation, right? Whereas today's program, which is called as HeadlessTesting, everything will run in the background. When I click on the run button, you will see nothing happens on the screen. Now, if you ask me, what is the guarantee? What is the proof that it is really launching Firefox and navigating to Gmail? What we can do is, you say system.out.println. How do you print the title of the currently opened page? We know that we can use the method called as getTitle, right? Similarly, if I want to find what is the currently opened URL, what is the method we were using all these days? Get current URL. Out of the 13 methods in WebDriver, get title method is used for printing the title of the currently opened page, and get current URL is used for displaying the URL of the currently opened page. I am just printing these things on the screen as a proof, just to show you that the program is actually running in the background, because we don't see anything happening on our screen. Okay, now let me run the program. We will not see any browser coming on the screen, only the results will be displayed. Do you see? In the console, it is showing me what is the title and what is the URL of the currently opened page. Now, whatever programs we have learned till today, whether it is working on links, whether it is working on drop downs, all those programs can be automated through HTML unit driver. The only thing is that the entire program will be running in the background. The entire program will be running in the background. No activity happens on your machine. Now, before actually understanding in detail what is this headless testing, let me tell you some interesting facts. I am currently claiming that HTML unit driver is running the program entirely in the background, right? Entirely in the background, and we are not able to see it. Now, if a process is currently running on your machine, whether it is running in the front end or in the back end, isn't it true that your task manager should be able to show it? I hope everyone is understanding. When a particular application or a process is running on your machine, if you go to the task manager, my task manager should clearly show that this particular process is running, whether it is in the front end or in the back end. Let's take some basic program that we have done in our beginning session. Maybe this was a simple program that we have done on the first day to launch the Firefox browser and navigate to google.com, right? A very basic program to launch Firefox and navigate to Google. So let me run the program. We know what will happen. This program will launch Firefox and open Google. Okay, so it's launching the Firefox browser and also navigating to google.com, the program that we have learnt on the first day of our sessions. Now, this program is launching the browser in the front end. Apart from that, if I go to my task manager, if I hit Control Alt Del and go into my task manager, do you see my task manager is currently showing that Firefox is running, with the Google page? It's clearly showing over here, right? Now, let me close the task manager, come back to the headless testing. In the headless testing also, we are saying that you run the program on the Firefox browser, but this time you navigate to gmail.com. We are not closing the browser in the program. We are simply displaying the title and the URL, which means the browser is still on opened position in the background. Let me run this program one more time. Program is running in the background. We don't see anything except the results coming in my console. You see, the results are generated in the console. Now, though the program is running in the background, if I go to my task manager, at least my task manager should show that Firefox is running in the background. Why the task manager is not able to show it? I hope you are understanding my question. Though we are not able to see, we are claiming currently that HTML unit driver is launching Firefox in the background. If that is the case, my task manager should be able to show that, Firefox is currently running. Why even the task manager is not able to show? Now, let me tell you something interesting. Not only the task manager being unable to show the information, you go to your control panel and uninstall Firefox, you uninstall Chrome, you uninstall Opera, Safari, you uninstall all the browsers which are present on your machine. still HTML unit driver will launch that browser and perform the testing. Even though the browsers are not installed on the machine, the program will run. It will run. How will it run? How is it possible? Because HTML unit driver does not use the browsers which are actually physically installed on your machine. It uses a JavaScript engine which is called as Rhino. Okay, this is an interesting concept. The Selenium server jar that we have actually downloaded, in that Selenium server jar we have a JavaScript engine. HTML unit driver is using a JavaScript engine called as Rhino. In this Rhino, from this Rhino it is picking up the necessary browser and it is doing the testing on that browser. Your HTML unit driver is not using the browsers which are physically installed on your machine. I hope everyone is understanding. That is why it is called as headless testing. These programs will run even though the browsers are not installed on your machine. Generally, it is used in those scenarios where you want to run the programs on server machines which are probably running on the command prompt. Let us say I have a server which is running on a Linux operating system which does not have any graphical user interface. Still, I want to run my Selenium programs on it. When there is no graphical user interface, how can you launch the browser? How can you do the testing? It's not possible, right? HTML unit driver works over there. Everything runs in the background. Even though the browsers are not installed, my program will run. Okay. Now, if you look at the documentation of HTML unit driver, the documentation says that HTML unit driver is the most fastest and lightweight component of Selenium. Lightweight component of Selenium. When we say fastest, it is very, very fast when compared to Firefox driver, Chrome driver or Safari driver, whatever browsers we were using till today. This is the fastest component of Selenium. When we say lightweight, what we generally mean is when the program is running, the HTML unit driver program, it consumes very less amount of memory. It consumes very less amount of CPU. That is the meaning of lightweight. Okay. Now, to an extent, I can actually demonstrate this. I am claiming that HTML unit driver is the fastest component of Selenium. I will actually demonstrate this, how fast it is when it is compared to our regular Chrome driver or Internet Explorer driver. Okay, just look at my screen. If you remember, this was the program on drop-down testing, which we have done probably 3 days back, which is actually opening a site called as new tools site. It is identifying a drop-down. It is capturing all the elements present in the drop-down. It is clicking on all the elements, and if they are getting selected, my program is printing it is active. Otherwise, that element is not active. Now, there are actually 264 elements in the drop-down. The program is launching the Chrome browser, and on the Chrome browser, it is clicking on all the 264 elements and telling me whether it is working or not. With a good speed, with a decent speed, there's no question about it. Let me, in case someone has missed this session, please go through the recording of, maybe 2 days back. I think we have covered this. So just go through the recording. Try to understand the program step by step. We have explained the program in that session. Now, I'll just run this program, and currently the program is running on Chrome, which runs at a decent speed. Later, we will see how this program, the same program, when it is run on HTML unit driver, with what speed the same program runs, we will try to understand. Okay, so let me run the program. This program should launch Chrome. Click on all the elements in the drop down and tell me whether those options are in working condition or not. So as you can see, it's launching the Chrome browser. Do you see there is a drop down on my page where there are different country names? As I told you previously, we have 264 countries over there. The program is clicking on each and every country, and if they are getting selected, my program is giving the output in the console like this. It's clicking on the country, telling whether it is in working condition or not. So all the 264 elements, one after other, it is trying to validate. It is a decent speed. There's no question about it. Now, once the program is over on Chrome, the same program we will try to run on HTML unit driver, and then let us see the difference. Okay. Now, let's come back to Selenium. Watch. It is clicking on the elements and displaying the output. Anyone has any doubts regarding this drop down program? Just go through the previous recording. I think we have done it on Monday, right? Yeah, 2 days back. So it's clicking on all the elements one after other. It's almost coming to a close. Yes, Zimbabwe is the last country, and you see in my console it is displaying the names of all the countries and whether they are in working condition or not. Everything is getting displayed over here, right? Now, validating 264 elements in a drop down in probably less than 2 minutes or 3 minutes is a very good speed. There's no question about it, right? 2 minutes your program is validating 264 elements. Now, this program that I have designed is working on the Chrome browser. Now, the same program we will run through HTML unit driver, and then you see the difference. Okay, I'll come to this program. Let me comment this code where you are launching the Chrome browser, and instead what should I give, friends? HTML unit driver. HTML unit driver equals to new HTML unit driver is equals to new HTML unit driver, and specify the browser version. Browser version dot select whichever you want. Okay, so we are not making any changes to the program. Previously the program was running on Chrome. Instead you are saying run it on HTML unit, which means do headless testing, run in the background. So when I run this program, you will not see any browser coming up on the screen. Only the results will be available. Okay, just see the difference in speed, how quickly this program runs compared to the previous program. I am clicking on the run button. No browser comes on the screen. But if you look at the console, do you see? In the console, my program has already validated all the 264 countries. I hope you are able to understand the speed with which it is running. The previous program probably did not even launch the browser in this time, and here we have the results of all the 264 countries being validated. Okay, in case someone did not see it, I'll run the program one more time. Just see, no browser comes up, nothing. Program clicks on all the 264 elements in the drop down and simply displays the result. We clicked on the run button, and if we go to the console, in the console you see the output is already generated, all the 264. So this is the fastest component of Selenium. The fastest component of Selenium. Probably at this level you are not really able to understand the speed or appreciate the speed, but once, just imagine a test shoot. If your test shoot is taking 10 hours to execute, HTML unit driver can wind up the job in probably less than 1 or 2 hours. This is the fastest component of Selenium. Okay, but there are some disadvantages. Okay, what are those disadvantages? Let us try to understand. Okay, we are saying that HTML unit driver is the fastest component, but the main disadvantage of HTML unit driver is we cannot take screenshots. In yesterday's session, we have seen how to capture screenshots, right? That concept cannot be implemented using HTML unit driver. The entire program is running in the background You can only view the results. If something is not working, if I want to take a screenshot through my Selenium program, that concept is not possible. That is one disadvantage. Other disadvantages are HTML unit driver can do the automation only on those browsers which are defined within Rhino. You see, when I say browser version dot, whatever browsers information is coming over there, Chrome, Firefox 31, 38, IE 11 and 8, only on these browsers we can do the testing. Let us say you want to do the testing on Firefox 44. No, that can't be done. It is limited to the browsers which are already available in Rhino. You can't do the testing on whichever browser version you want. That is another disadvantage of HTML unit driver. But the main thing you need to understand in this scenario is the programs will run, the HTML unit driver program will run even though the browsers are not physically installed on your machine. You can run this program on any a server machine which is totally working on command prompt, which does not have any graphical user interface. You don't see browsers, nothing. Still my Selenium program can do the testing on that server machine if we are using HTML unit driver. Okay, HTML unit is a headless browser. HTML unit driver is the inbuilt class provided by Selenium to automate this HTML unit browser. Okay, now once we have understood HTML unit, now we will see what is Phantomjs. Phantomjs is also again another headless browser which can be integrated with Selenium, and we can perform the same headless testing, which means the program will run even when the browsers are not installed. But the advantage of Phantomjs over HTML unit driver is here we can capture screenshots. If something is not working and I want to capture screenshots, HTML unit driver does not support that concept, whereas in Phantomjs we can capture the screenshot. Now, to work on Phantomjs, we need to download a particular exe file, and we also have to download a particular jar file. Let us see from where we can download them. Let us first add them to our project, and then we will see how Phantomjs functions. Okay, so the first thing that you do is you launch any of your browsers. Now in this browser I'll give Phantomjs download. This is the phantomjs.org, from where we can download the Phantomjs exe file. Now because I am using a Windows operating system, because my machine is a Windows operating system, I will download this particular version. If you are using a Mac machine, maybe you can go with the Mac related one, depending on which operating system you can decide. So I will just click on this. It's a zipped file which will get downloaded. Okay, it has started the download. It's taking little time. Just give me a second, friends. Okay. I'll actually stop the downloading because the Phantomjs has already been previously downloaded on my machine. It's a zipped file. You extract it. Okay, whatever Phantomjs that you are downloading is coming in the format of a zipped file. You extract it. After extracting, the Phantomjs folder will look like this. Open that folder. Open this Phantomjs folder. Open the bin folder. Do you see there is a phantomjs.exe file? The path of this exe file should be given in your Selenium program. Now currently what is the location? It's present in C, users, downloads. Now what I will do is, because I don't want to give such a big path, I'll copy it from this location. Maybe we'll paste it in the C drive, or okay, wherever it is present, the path has to be given. For my convenience, I am copying it into the C drive. Currently the path is simply C/, right? Now once the Phantomjs has been phantomjs.exe is saved onto your machine, the next thing you do is you come to our Maven repository, search.maven.org. This is the central repository of Maven, from where we can download all the open source jar files which are registered with Maven. Okay, here you search for Phantomjs. Phantomjs. In case you have any issues regarding the Maven, just go through the Maven recording also. It's taking a lot of time. Okay, fine. Phantomjs, you see the latest version is 2.1.7. Now what you do is, on the right hand corner you will find the jar link. Just click on that jar link. The Phantomjs jar will be downloaded. Okay, so you see the jar is getting downloaded, and once the jar is downloaded, I hope all of you know what we do. We just copy the jar and add it to the project, right? All of you know how to add the jar files. I hope I don't need to repeat that. Phantomjs. Where is the Phantomjs? The Phantomjs jar. This is the jar file. So just copy this jar file. For storing all the jar files, we have actually created a folder called as lib folder. Right click on the lib folder and click on paste. You see that the Phantomjs jar is pasted into the lib folder. Then you have to add it to the current project. How do you add it, friends? Right click on the project, click on properties, click on Java build path, libraries, add external jars, and whatever jar you are planning to add, just highlight that and click on open. It's already added on my machine, so I'm not doing that. We were following the same navigations all these days for different jar files, right? Any external jar file, you add it through this process only. Now, once the Phantomjs exe file is downloaded and once the jar file is added to your project, let us start the program. I will create a new class which I will call as headless testing through Phantomjs. Phantom, right? Phantomjs. So now I hope all of you remember, when working on the Chrome browser and the IE browser, we always specify the path of the exe file, right? We say system.setProperty, and let me pick up some program that we have done on Chrome so that you will understand. Probably on day 2 we have done it. You see, look at the Chrome program or the IE program. We know that in order to work on Chrome and IE, we need to download the corresponding exe file and specify the path of that file using system.setProperty, right? The same thing has to be done for Phantomjs also. But the parameters that you pass is, the first parameter is, you say Phantomjs.binary.path. This is the first parameter. And the second parameter is where that Phantomjs is present on your machine. In my case, it is present in the C drive, right? Just now we copied into the C drive. So system.setProperty, these are the two things we have to pass. Phantomjs.binary.path and where that exe file is present on your machine. Once that exe file path is given, we have a class called as Phantomjs driver. Just give a few characters and hit control space. Create an object of that class equals to new Phantomjs driver. This will launch the Phantom browser which runs in the background. And again, I'll say driver.get, specify whatever URL you want. Let's say I want to open google.com, and of course I want to print the title, so I'll say get title. Okay, system.out.println, print the title as a proof because the program is running in the background. Again the same drama, you will not see any browser coming on the screen, everything runs in the background. The only proof is you will see the title coming up on my screen, on my console. You see, some logs are getting generated, and once the browser is opened, Do you see the title being shown over here? Similarly, I want to display something else. I want to display the URL. I'll say driver.get current URL. So my program will launch the Phantom headless browser, navigate to Google, display the title and the current URL. Everything in the background. Nothing is happening on my graphical user interface. So it's launching Google. It's showing the title and the URL of the currently opened page. Okay. Now, HTMLUnit is one kind of headless browser. Phantomjs is another headless browser. But the advantage of Phantomjs over HTMLUnit driver is Phantomjs can be used if you want to capture the screenshots. Previously, we have discussed that HTMLUnit driver cannot capture screenshots. But now, if I'm using Phantomjs, I can write the code for even capturing the screenshot. Okay, let's just try to verify it. How do you capture the screenshot, friends? What is the code for capturing the screenshot of the currently opened page? File, create an object of the file class, which I will call as source file. Okay, and we have an interface in Selenium called as takes screenshot. Now, the driver object, which is currently belonging to a class called as Phantomjs driver, we are typecasting it. We are converting it into takes screenshot type. We have seen the concept of typecasting and everything in the previous sessions, right? Anyhow, the screenshot code I have explained in the last session. So, the driver object, which is currently belonging to the Phantomjs driver type, is being converted into an interface called as takes screenshot. Once the conversion is done, we will access a method called as get screenshot. Here we will specify the output type. Output type should be converted into file format because we are storing the data in a file variable called as src file. Okay, so the screenshot, though the program is running in the background, the screenshot of the Google is captured and stored in a variable called src file. What is the next step we do? We have to save it somewhere on our machine, right? So for that we will use a class called as fileutils. This is just repetition of yesterday's concept for capturing the screenshot. Fileutils dot copy file. I hope everyone has practiced these programs. The source file should be saved as a new file. Specify the location. On my machine, I want to save it on the desktop. So users, desktop, and specify the name of the file. Let's give the name of the file as google.png. The screenshot code, I am not explaining the screenshot code in detail because yesterday we have clearly seen different programs on screenshot. We have explained it everything clearly, right? Today what I am trying to show you is Phantomjs driver, though the program is running in the background, though we do not see Google coming up on the screen, what I am trying to explain is it can capture screenshots which HTMLUnit driver cannot perform. Okay, so let me run the program. It should navigate to Google, obviously in the background, everything in the background. The only proof that we have is on the console it is printing the title and the URL. Other than that, on my desktop it should generate the screenshot. You observe? Do you see on my desktop today's Google page has been captured as a screenshot? So the screenshot code which we have used yesterday on Firefox, on Chrome and other browsers, that does not work on HTMLUnit driver, but it works on Phantomjs. Okay, the list that you see over here, all these are called as headless browsers, out of which in today's session we have seen how to work on HTMLUnit and Phantomjs. Okay, the only difference, the main difference between HTMLUnit and Phantomjs is HTML is very fast. It's very fast compared to Phantomjs also, but it cannot capture screenshots. Whereas Phantomjs, though it is a little slower than HTMLUnit driver, it can capture screenshots. Okay, this is how you can do headless testing. Okay, so friends, I'll stop the session over here. Just go through these concepts of headless browser on both HTML unit and also on Phantomjs. Tomorrow we'll see some other concepts and we'll continue our session. Okay, so goodbye for now.